Hey, today in this video we are going to talk about frustration in life, frustration in what you're doing, frustration in everything. So this is something that I'm going to be really honest and admit that I've been struggling with this week. So who else here struggles? This is my son's chair, it's a bit broken. Who here suffers with frustration in day-to-day life when things aren't going your way, when you're trying to do something and it's not happening? So let me just talk about that a little bit. So I used to read all the books. Some people you follow like Fraser Brooks, Eric Warrow. We'll go to books and we read them, how to build confidence, how to overcome anxiety. But what I'm starting to learn is that the reading of them is just not the step. You have to actually do what they tell you to. So unless you're actually acting on what you're being taught, you're just going to stand still. So what I do now is when I get frustrated, I will find somebody who inspires me, who I want to listen to, and I will carry on doing what I'm doing through the frustration, but I will listen to that person to push me through. So like quotes of the day, like some people have in their personal plan, like every day they wake up to a quote to get them through the day. So it's just something to keep you propelling forward. And this is what's really helping me at the moment. So this time, it's completely different for me. Last time I used to get very frustrated, didn't want to message everyone I knew, didn't want to spend a lot of time on social media because I do have a life, and I used to just be like this, looking at my phone the whole time. I'm not doing any of that this time. This time everything is completely different, and if it doesn't go this way, then this isn't for me. This really isn't for me. So it is working. How I've got through the frustration, I've read things, I've then done the work, and then when the frustrations come, I've taken a step back, I've listened to the input or whatever you listen to give you a little bit of motivation, and then carried on doing the work. So you remember, like sometimes they say, oh, when you've got tasks, always do the hardest one first. So that phone call that you don't want to make, do that first because it's done, out of the way. And sometimes things, well, most of the time when you do things, they're not as bad as you think they're going to be, because the more you do it. So I'll tell you a little secret about this sort of thing. I had a couple of car crashes last year. Really knocked my confidence. Hadn't had a car crash since I passed, well, that's a lie. I've had like 3 of them since I passed my driving test. I've been driving since I was like 19 or something, and I'm now like 38, which I've told you all my age. I'm 38. So been driving a long time, and I had like one thing go on, but we won't talk about that. It's a whole nother topic altogether. And then I had, in a short space of time, I had quite a few car accidents. None of them were my fault at all, but I got a bit worried about driving one of my cars. But for some reason this week I've had no choice but to drive the car, and I've been driving it. And do you know what? The more I drive it, the more confident I've got. So now I'm driving it, I'm not even thinking, but I didn't want to get in that car. And you need to take the small steps. As long as you keep moving forward whilst you're learning, whilst you're getting the motivation, it will work. It does work. So that was just one example about the car thing, about how I just put it off, didn't want to do it, and then I took small steps. So maybe you could write down the steps you want to do. So the small step, the next step. So say there's something you really want to do and you can't quite get there, maybe break it down into small steps. So one thing that, for instance, like if you want to run a marathon, you don't just go out and run a marathon, do you? You build up, you do it slowly, you do step by step. Because if you just go out and run a marathon, it would not be a good experience. But you build up to that and you do small steps, and then eventually you run the marathon at the end if you get to that point. But if you don't keep moving forward, if you don't keep doing those small steps, you're never going to get to that point where you run that marathon, because it will just be a horrible experience, and that will be it. But if you build up slowly, you do small steps, you meet other people that do it, it becomes a bit of a thing, it becomes like a nice experience. You will then eventually do that. So that was just a little input in how to drop frustration. Like how, when you're getting frustrated about something and you feel like you're not moving forward, you are moving forward, but it's just the frustration that's getting to you, then go to something else, take your mind off of it. A quote, something that's going to boost you, like the marathon again, like people listen to motivating music, and they do it slowly and build up to it. So if you are getting frustrated, or you need any help or advice around how to combat frustration, or you're struggling in something, then please do drop me a line and I can see how we can focus and move you forward. Come join my journey with me. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you got some value from this. If you did get value, please share with anybody, everyone you know that you think will get value from this. I wanted to try and not just do it about the whole network marketing side of it. I wanted to encompass everything, like frustration in general, because there are people who have a lot of frustration in generally everything. So that's how I wanted to cover this. Please drop me a line, need any help, be great. Thank you so much for watching me again. I do appreciate you all, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.